never stop reading Bible. Have you ever stopped to think about how Jesus revealed his true identity? You know, it wasn't just one big announcement. In the Gospel of John, it's this amazing, gradual unfolding, a series of clues and confrontations that build on each other. So today, we're going to dive deep into 3 pivotal chapters, that's 4, 5, and 6, to really see how Jesus used specific signs and some incredibly powerful words to show people exactly who he was. Let's get into it.
So, here's our roadmap. We'll kick things off with the big theme that connects all these chapters. Then, we'll walk through them one by one. We're going to start with a really personal encounter at a well in Samaria, then move to a pretty intense conflict brewing in Jerusalem, and wrap it up with a mind-blowing miracle in Galilee. And by the end, you'll see how these 3 totally different stories come together to build one single, powerful message about who Jesus is and what he came to do.
Okay, so the one thread that ties all of this together is this powerful idea of revelation. This is about so much more than Jesus just performing miracles. It's about him using these signs, as John calls them, almost like a window into a much deeper reality. He's basically inviting people to look past the physical event and see the spiritual truth of who he is and what he's offering. Our journey starts in chapter 4, and this one is all about these deeply personal one-on-one encounters. We see Jesus traveling from Judea back up to Galilee, but he decides to take a route that really sets the stage for a life-changing conversation. He actually goes through Samaria, which, was a place most Jews at the time would go out of their way to avoid. And it's right there at this ancient well that he meets a Samaritan woman and starts talking about a totally different kind of thirst, a spiritual one that no amount of regular water could ever satisfy. And this is really the heart of the chapter right here. Jesus isn't just talking about a drink of H2O, he's offering something incredible, a permanent internal source of eternal life. And this one conversation is so powerful, it ends up bringing her entire town to believe in him. Just amazing.
A little later in the chapter, Jesus performs his second sign, and it's a big one. He heals a royal official's son from miles away. This is such a powerful demonstration that his authority isn't limited by space or distance. All it takes is his word.
This really brings us to the main point of the whole chapter. When his disciples come back and offer him some food, Jesus tells them what truly sustains him, what his real food is. It's doing the will of the Father who sent him. That statement of purpose is so important because it really sets the tone for everything that's about to happen. All right, so we're shifting gears now. From those personal moments in Samaria, we move right into the heart of Jewish religious life, Jerusalem. And in chapter 5, the whole vibe changes. Those quiet conversations, they're replaced by public controversy and a direct clash with the religious leaders. So what sparks all this conflict? It's the third sign. Jesus heals a man who had been an invalid for 38 years. I mean, think about that, 38 years. The miracle itself is incredible, but it's the timing of the healing that causes all the trouble. And right here, this is a fundamental clash of worldviews. For Jesus, this is a clear act of mercy and compassion, but for the religious leaders, it's a blatant violation of the Sabbath, the sacred day of rest. This was a cornerstone of their law and their identity. So this one act of healing, it just ignites a total firestorm. Now, in response to their accusations, Jesus doesn't back down one bit. In fact, he doubles down, making some of his most direct claims about his divinity yet. He straight up declares that he shares the Father's life-giving authority. He's not just breaking their rules, he's telling them he operates with the authority of God himself. So how does Jesus defend these radical claims? He basically lays out his case like a lawyer in a courtroom. First, he says he shares the Father's authority. Second, he holds the power to judge. And third, he tells them his claims are supported by multiple witnesses, John the Baptist, his own miracles, even the scriptures they study so closely. After that really heated confrontation in Jerusalem, Jesus pulls back a bit. He heads back to the quieter region of Galilee, which seems like a strategic move to let things cool down. But his ministry is far from over. In fact, it's here that he performs 2 of his most famous miracles. First up is the feeding of the 5,000. Just try to picture this scene. A huge crowd, they're out in the middle of nowhere, and all they have is a kid's lunch, 5 small loaves of bread and 2 fish. And yet Jesus feeds every single person with 12 full baskets of leftovers. It's just a breathtaking display of his power over creation. And then, right after that, his disciples are out on the Sea of Galilee, caught in a storm, and Jesus performs the 5th sign.
He comes to them by walking on the water, showing his absolute authority over the very forces of nature.
But that miracle with the bread and fish, it wasn't just about filling empty stomachs. No, it was a setup for an even deeper lesson. Jesus uses it as a launching point to introduce this new idea, the bread of life, a spiritual food that provides a satisfaction that lasts forever.
This right here is the heart of this chapter's teaching. Jesus brilliantly connects the theme of thirst from chapter 4 with the theme of hunger here in chapter 6. He's declaring that he is the complete source of spiritual fulfillment, the only one who can satisfy every deep need of the human heart.
So, we've journeyed through these 3 incredible chapters. What's the big picture? How do all these signs, these teachings, and these conflicts actually fit together? Well, they form this really clear and deliberate progression. It's a steady, unfolding revelation of exactly who Jesus is.
Just think about the progression. In chapter 4, Jesus is the living water, quenching our spiritual thirst. In chapter 5, he's the Son of God, claiming divine authority over life and judgment. Then, in chapter 6, he's the bread of life, providing the only true spiritual food. See? Each chapter just adds another critical layer to our understanding, all pointing to Jesus as the one single source of eternal life. So it really leaves us with this question, doesn't it? How do these signs, the healing, the water, the bread, how do they challenge us to look beyond just what we can see and touch and to grasp the spiritual reality they're all pointing to? It's a question that has echoed through the centuries and one that these chapters really invite each of us to think about for ourselves.
From the Center Studio,